Want to take this opportunity to welcome you to this class on Organizational Psychology, PSY 402. I am your lecturer, the Reverend Dr. James N. Bogua. I have been a lecturer at this university for the last 10 years or so. Welcome. Organizational psychology, sometimes referred to as industrial psychology, is a branch of psychology that, as we shall be seeing, deals with the organization and the individuals who work in this organization. At the end of this lecture, you will be expected to define key terms, of course, after fully understanding them, to discuss the activities of an organizational psychologist, and for the ease of understanding, the organizational psychologist will be yourself, because it's our hope that after you have trained, you will be in a position to fit in the shoes of an organizational psychologist. The intended learning outcomes for this lecture is that by the end of it, you will be in a position to define the basic concepts of organizational psychology, to discuss the activities of an organizational psychologist, and be in a position to fully get an understanding, an awareness, an overview, basically, of organizational psychology. We start with the organization. An organization, sometimes referred to as the firm, the industry, or any other term out there in the business entity, is a collection of interacting and interdependent individuals. And it's good at the outset to underline the word interacting and interdependent. An organization, because it has individuals who interact and depend on each other, and therefore these individuals work towards common goals, and their relationships are determined according to a certain structure, according to Duncan, 1981. An organization is basically a human creation and fundamentally consists of people rather than buildings, equipment, or machineries. And therefore, the individual in the organization is very, very important to be understood and to understand, because he or she forms a fundamental chain within this organization. The term organization is also general and not just restricted to industrial or commercial firms. A wide range of other organized human activities fall within this definition, as we shall continue seeing in this class. People within organization must to some extent be working to a common goal and coordinate their activities to this end. And therefore, some other important aspect is the coordination, the common goal, the common purpose. Although relationship between people is determined according to a certain structure, informal or unofficial groups and structures can be at least as important as a formal structure. In many of the organizations out there, here in Kenya and elsewhere, you find that an organization has what we call the formal structure, but within this organization we have the informal structure. The formal structure is about the reporting structure, the chain of command, but the informal is about who feels good when they're working with who, how generally individuals in one department work with another one, even when they are not within the right departments. The other aspects that comes in: culture, religion, environmental issues, political reasons, trade unionism, and all these could affect the well-being of the organization. And therefore, we ask ourselves, what is industrial or organizational psychology? This, ladies and gentlemen, is a branch of psychology that studies behavior in the workplace and the marketplace. Underline the word behavior. The workplace, the marketplace. Basically, how do individuals behave in the workplace and the marketplace? And not just the individual. Remember, the organization is also an entity. What about the organization? Do we have values as an organization? Probably XYZ company. What are their values? What are their driving existential issues that they would have? Industrial organizational psychology is also the branch of applied psychology that is concerned with efficient management of an industrial labor force and especially with problems encountered by workers. An organization at the end of the day exists for profit making. But within profit making, there is also efficient management of the labor force, the industrial force, so that all their issues are well dealt with, handled, attended to, so that the organization, at the end of it all, achieves its stated objectives. Industrial organizational psychology is also a scientific study of employees and organizations. It is the application of psychological principles and techniques to business and industrial problems, as in the selection of development and training programs. Industrial organizational psychology, we note, as we shall be seeing as we continue with this class, is that it's also concerned with the selection of the best fitted employees for certain duties. And not only selection after they are selected, their development, their training needs, because for them to be fully efficient, they will need to be trained so that the overall objective of profit making is enhanced and achieved. We have different contributing fields in the area of organizational psychology, and the first and foremost is psychology, which of course is an applied science which attempts to explain human behavior in a particular situation and predicts actions of individuals. Right at the outset, we call this unit industrial psychology, and therefore this is about psychology being used so that we understand individuals within organizations. Oftentimes people will behave differently depending on the environment, and therefore in this entity, in this group of individuals we are calling a firm or an organization, do we also expect different behavior? And the quick answer is yes, because the needs of the organizations will bring to the fore different behaviors in individuals. Psychology has contributed towards various theories on learning, motivation, personality, training, and development. Theories on individual decision making, leadership, job satisfaction, performance appraisal, attitude, ego state, job design, work stress, and conflict management. And what we are saying here is that in understanding the organization and the individual, we borrow from psychology on areas like learning, on areas like motivation. What do we need to do as the firm to increase motivation? Understanding the personality, what personality are best fitted for a job that probably requires more risk? What are the needs of training and development that psychology will help to bring to the fore? Using the theories of psychology, we'll understand how best we need to make decisions, the issue of leadership, what brings job satisfaction, performance appraisal. When we are praising individuals, what are those key areas? The performance indicators. And how does psychology inform these areas? Attitude is everything. Understanding attitude within the organization help us to increase the motivation of individuals within that organization. Psychology has also come up with various psychological tests which could be conducted in the organization for selection of employees to measure personality attributes and aptitude. Another contributing area is sociology. And basically, sociology studies the impact of culture on group behavior and has contributed to a large extent to the field of group dynamics. Roles that individuals play in the organization, communication norms, status, power, conflict management from organization theory, group processes, and group decision making. What we are saying here is understanding the individual within society. And it is in society that we learn the issue of group behavior. And group behavior helps us to understand group dynamics. Like when we are making teams, how do we, get benefits of group dynamics so that the team is as cohesive as possible? The roles that individuals play in the organization can be understood within the larger society and in sociology. Another contributing area is political science, and especially this is much more important in the area of unions, workers' rights, and the like. It contributes to the field of organizational behavior by exploiting the stability that will be found at the national level, at the local level, and this would, among others, be a major factor for the promotion of international business, financial investments, expansion, and employment. Every other organization, and especially guided by the HR department and the industrial psychologists that they would have on board, would do well to reason to the political temperatures every other time, and especially where international trade is involved, because a move, a shift in the foreign exchange, in the stock exchange market, could either be for good or for bad for the organization. And further, in political science, we get to understand the need of understanding the rules and regulations within government, because this could play a very decisive role in the growth of any organization. Like when the taxation regime becomes punitive, our employees and the organization may suffer. And therefore, every other organization will do well to be attuned with the political moods so that they are either impacted positively or avoid the instance of being impacted negatively. Of course, there is also the need to understand the politics so that we abide by the rules of the government of the day in order to have an environment conducive for business. Social psychology also helps within the organization. And here we see that working organizations are formal assembly of people who are assigned specific jobs and play a vital role in formulating human behavior. You know, this individual who works in this company, we need to understand that he or she is coming from a family, from a relationship, from an environment, coming with beliefs, values, attitudes, and social psychology now comes in so that we are able to understand this individual for the benefit of the firm or the organization. Social psychology is a subject where the concept of psychology and sociology are bred to achieve better human behavior in the organization. The field has contributed to manage change, group decision making, communication, and the ability of people in the organization to maintain social norms. Another very important area is the area of anthropology. This is a field of study relating to human activities in various cultural and environmental frameworks. It understands the difference in behavior based on various systems of different cultures of various countries. The study is more relevant to organizational behavior today due to globalization, mergers, and acquisitions of various industries. Anthropology will help us to understand the global concept, the global village, and we find today a company like Coca-Cola has presence in almost every other country in the world. Even as they are headquartered in the US, you find that their presence trickles to so many other countries. And therefore there is need to understand the culture of these people. There is need to understand the political dynamics of every other country, the marketing trends, and anthropology comes in handy for this. We also finding organizations like within the United Nations in different countries and people coming from different nationalities and working together. And therefore in some specific countries you'll find a melting pot of culture, and these could either be positive or negative at the local level, depending on how we understand the dynamics and exploit them for the good of the organization. The advent of the 21st century has created a situation wherein cross-cultural people will have to work in one particular industry. And this is happening so often, in which a company in the United Kingdom buys of a company in South Africa, and then they move the headquarters and many of the operations to Nairobi or to any other country out there. And therefore you find members from the mother country, UK, members from the company that was bought from South Africa, going to the third country and all meeting together with the locals. And anthropology helps us to understand how to work together within these diverse environments. The other thing we find is that the organizational psychologists are involved in many areas of industry, including how communication is done throughout companies for personnel test development. And the main goal of the organizational psychologists are to enhance the workplace, making it a better environment in which to work and to be more productive, and to influence the marketplace by making companies work better to increase productivity and profits. The roles of the industrial psychologist include selection and placement. They assist the employers in the selection process in order to ensure that an organization only recruits the best in the market. Using the rich reserve of psychology, using the rich reserve of the theories from social psychology, from personnel development, and all this, the industrial psychologist is able to guide the employers to get the best fitted person for a particular job. It is also the work of the industrial psychologist to develop assessment tools for selection, placement, classification, and promotion of employees, validating test instruments, analyzing job content, developing and implementing selection programs. We don't just want to select, but we want to do it in a scientific way. And therefore, to avoid bias, to avoid getting somebody who is not well fitted for the particular job, the industrial psychologists come up with the right tools for selection. Further, the industrial psychologist will optimize placement of personnel and identify management potential. In a situation in which we have the accounting department and all of them have the requisite qualification, like for the certified public accountant or whatever other certification out there in the international arena, you will find that in that department we will still need a person to be in charge. And out of the unique qualifications, the industrial psychologist help management to come up with a manager for the department. This is also their work to help employees to adapt well to the workplace, as well as helping employers to recruit the best into the workplace. And therefore, every other serious organization need to have an industrial psychologist on board, working hand in hand with management and the HR department towards helping employees to get in, to settle, and to become as productive as possible. It is also the work of the industrial psychologist to read in the training and development of employees. And here, he or she is primarily concerned with designing of training courses and formulating and implementing technical training and management of development programs. They identify training and development needs of the employees and evaluate the effectiveness of the training and development programs relative to productivity and satisfaction. They also help in the planning of careers. The industrial psychologist will also be concerned with organizational development. He or she will analyze organizational structure, maximize satisfaction and the effectiveness of individuals and work groups, and facilitate organizational change. He or she is also concerned with performance management. They will develop criteria and measuring utility to evaluate organizational effectiveness. Another of their roles includes the quality of work life. The industrial psychologists try to establish a quality life by enhancing the productive output of individuals. Remember, we have said, and we need to repeat, that the objective of the organization, the firm, is profit making. And for this to happen, the industrial psychologist comes in by making sure that there is an established quality of life that will come through making sure that the productive output of the individuals within the organization is enhanced. This could be done by identifying factors associated with job satisfaction and designing jobs to make them more meaningful. When the HR comes up with a job description, it will be the work of the industrial psychologist together with HR and other managers to really look into this job description and ask themselves, does it need a particular personality? Does it need particular attitudes? How can we enhance the productivity of the individual here to match this job description? It's not just a scientific production of a job description. It must be seen in real terms within the confines of reality, so that at the end of the day, all of us are concerned with optimum production for the well-being of this firm that all of us are concerned with. Organizational psychologists will aid organizations to deal with pertinent issues which usually come up in organizations, thus threatening the very existence of the same. Such may include challenges in the workplace such as discrimination, favoritism, as well as poor relations or negative organizational culture. Basically what we mean here is that within some settings, you may find, and especially in the global village arena, you may find this nationality being discriminative to these other nationality. The issue of favoritism, poor relations, or negative organizational culture. It is the work of the industrial psychologist to help the organization deal with the issues of overt discriminations that would come in. And pertinent issues are many. Issues to do with burnout. Sometimes family relationship will come in. And because we want this individual to give their very best, once in a while there will be need to create breakout sessions within the firm so that we attend to family relations. We'll need to come up with rules on relating within the organization, like dating and other intimate relationships, the issue of substance use. All these are very, very important and can threaten the organization at the end of the day.